Okay, where's Mike? Damn it, dog, give me that. How am I supposed to dunk on B-dubs with you stealing my equipment? What do you mean the koi pond is on fire? When did we even get a koi pond? I guess it's smoked fish tonight, since pretty sure I just saw the cats running down the hall with our sandwiches. God, damn it, I got a video to do on chaos. Hold on a minute. Holy Mary, pray for us. Welcome, everyone, to a chaotic episode of Driving and Dragons. I'm Daniel, and today we are talking about chaotic alignments in tabletop role-playing games. What is chaos? How do chaotic characters behave, think, and feel? And what is the definition of chaos as a cosmic power in the universe of the game? Before things get too out of control here, take a second to like and subscribe. Then once the video is over, drop a comment with your thoughts, share the link to others who might find it useful or entertaining, and head on over to my Patreon where backers can help drive the decision-making process for our 1974 Dodge Dart restoration project, and paid backers will get automatic entry to win the car. Speaking of chaos, government, New York State, transport, etc., etc., etc. When I get to updates on the project car, I'll be sure to make sure everyone is informed of how it's going. Now, on with the series on alignment in TTRPGs, most specifically Dungeons & Dragons. The first thing to understand is that even the term chaotic is very appropriately a bit unclear. It is unclear for two very specific reasons. The first is that it's a holdover term. In the old school D&D basic alignment system, you had lawful, neutral, and chaotic. Later, you had the 5 alignment system of chaotic, good, and evil, lawful, good, and evil, and neutral. Then, of course, the 9 alignment system that added the neutral versions of law, chaos, good, and evil. I even recall a 4 alignment system that was lawful, good, neutral, and chaotic. Yes, lawful also served as a holdover term, but it was pretty quickly separated from good. And as humans are creatures that naturally tend to favor ordered systems and societies as a means of surviving and thriving as a species, it is inherently easier for players to grasp law as a concept. This is what leads to the second reason that chaos is a bit nebulous. For a long time, it was essentially the bad guy alignment. PCs and NPCs, they were good or lawful or neutral, and 99% of all non-combat interactions was going to be with them. Hell, 99% of all questioning of motives was going to be with those NPCs and PCs. Chaotic was just, well, it's a demon. Of course it did unhinged bad things. Long story short, lawful good and lawful evil were both pretty natural outgrowths of the original thought process. But chaotic evil was basically like saying evil evil or chaotic chaotic. And the idea of chaotic good was likely the furthest thing from that original concept in terms of something that would naturally come up in discussion or gameplay. So what is chaos? In short, chaotic characters live in the moment and live for the moment. If the reductive starting point of good and evil is thinking of the self first and thinking of others first, then reductive starting point for law and chaos would be long-term big picture thinking versus situational reactive in the moment thinking. As with all alignments, a chaotic alignment may manifest in certain surface level ways, but it is a result of lizard brain subconscious processing of the information that the world gives you through your senses. Lawful characters value systems and structures and societal rules because they default to a long-term view of what provides the most favorable results long-term on average. Chaotic characters have nothing against laws, systems, and societal structures by nature, but their brains see everything as an independent event and that it is unique and exists in the moment. No need for structure. We will make decisions in the future based off of the information that the future situations present to us. Worry about the future while making this decision? Don't be silly. You can't see the future. So how do you know how things are going to react tomorrow? Chaos does not mean behave arbitrarily based on whim. It is not lol so random, as the kids say. Chaos also does not mean direct opposition to laws, structures, or systems. Just because the future is not the concern in a chaotic minded character does not mean that they are completely inconsiderate of it. The chaotic evil thief may want to steal from the shopkeep, but he also understands that the shopkeep is their only source of provisions in a small town, and that it would be ultimately pretty obvious who stole the goods, so stealing would likely not be a good idea in that situation. Same with the chaotic neutral murder hobo. Look at me, I'm chaotic neutral, I can do what I want. Screw your murder law, I'm killing the town guard. Yeah, no, this is not chaotic neutral, it's illogical stupid. I cannot stand chaotic neutral players as a rule because of this misunderstanding. The good old 3.5e Player's Handbook says, chaotic characters follow their consciences, resent being told what to do, favor new ideas over tradition, and do what they promise if they feel like it. Chaos implies freedom, adaptability, and flexibility. On the downside, chaos can include recklessness, resentment toward legitimate authority, arbitrary actions, and irresponsibility. They follow their consciences. That's important. Chaotic character is often going to be the most pure version of their moral alignment, in a sense. Think of it as a character who often fails to consider that there may be unintended consequences for their moral decisions. Let's look at a chaotic good example. Character sees a beggar under the overpass, and he sees a sign that says City Ordinance 165. Begging is a Class 3 misdemeanor. Those giving to beggars are accomplices. Well, you see the suffering man and say to hell with it. I can give him a few bucks now and ease his suffering. Problem is, this city has shelters in place for those in need with plenty of space. You just got to follow the rules. This law is in place to help combat a major street crime and drug epidemic by ensuring that all charitable giving goes to what it's supposed to, and it separates the criminal element from those who are in desperate need. You, Mr. Chaotic Good, just gave an addict what he needed to accidentally OD. And you just funded the ammo his dealer used to handle business by rolling a series of critical misses against his rival near a local playground. Chaotic Good impulsively put the innate good of charity in the immediate situation above the structures in place to ensure that charity had its intended effect. And now a man is dead instead of getting the help he allegedly needed, and you indirectly facilitated harm to innocent children. Great job. Chaotic evil ain't off the hook either. Let's be a little bit more subtle here. He works for a local farmer and wants to own his own home. Farmer tells him that since he's been a hard worker, he'll give him the rental house he owns. But he wants him to appreciate it and be able to care for it, so he says, all you got to do is read this book on managing your household, and it's yours. Well, screw that farmer. Chaotic evil wants the house right now and doesn't read no stupid book. He breaks into the house and squats there, then ends up in prison after a shootout with the sheriff during the eviction process. Very chaotic evil behavior. Well, the farmer visits him, and then he blames the farmer for not just giving him the house. And the farmer asks, did you ever read the book? Mr. Chaotic Evil says no. It was bullshit that he had to read it, and he didn't want to read no book, and the farmer should have just given him that house. So the farmer takes the book, flips it to the back page, and shows him where the signed deed and the house keys were taped to the back cover. Both of these chaotic characters made impulsive, in-the-moment decisions. One to help on behalf of others, one to harm on behalf of themselves. Neither considered why the rules were put in place, nor the ultimate consequence of ignoring them. This is the essence of what it means to be chaotic as a character. While law favors the big picture and the long term over the immediate, chaos favors the moment and the detail over the whole. Think of it like this. While the moral axis determines the type of actions that a character is going to take, to give or to take, to serve others or to serve the self, the ethical axis determines if you're going to take that action that you're considering. Yes, I want to give. But if I give, am I helping or am I enabling? Yes, I want to take. But if I take, am I taking a little now at a much higher cost than if I simply wait and take it tomorrow? If your character is chaotic, the equation stops after the yes, I want to part more often than not. Sometimes that means you tear down the fence across the road and make everyone's travel easier and more expedient. Sometimes it means that you tear down the fence and make travel easier and more expedient for the bandits the fence was there to slow down. That's what I've got today. Next time we tackle the two-headed monster that is neutral. And I'll see you next time.